Hello and welcome back. We're still weaning. Um, Chris is still with me. Hello, Chris.
I'm still here. You can't get rid of me. You've asked a few times, but I refuse to hang up the call.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I apologize.
But we're back, and as is tradition, we got some songs. And the rule around here is if it's 10 or more albums in a discography, we bust out a top 20 because I like to show a bit more, spread a bit more of the love. And, we did that with the Beatles, with Sam, and with Depeche Mode. And we're going to be doing it with Ween because thanks to Shinola Volume 1, which we are counting, it allows for 10 studio albums, which I think was a bit of a blessing because you're going to see some of these songs that I have in 11 through 20, and you're going to be a bit shocked, I think. But yeah, I guess I'll go first. The way it goes,
Sure.
we're going to go 20 through 11, just list them off quickly with the album that they were on, just for the sake of someone who isn't aware. And then for the top 10, we're going to take it in turns and go a bit more in depth because I think the songs sometimes are just as deserving of discussion as the albums. Ready?
I am ready. Let's hear it.
Right. So, number 20 was between two songs from Chanel Volume 1. I settled on Someday. Number 19 from Chocolate and Cheese is Take Me Away. Number 18 from The Mollusk is The Blarney Stone, an underdog that has arrived out of nowhere.
Okay. Love it.
Number 17, back to back from The Mollusk, It's Gonna Be All Right. Number 16, very similarly titled song, It's Gonna Be a Long Night from Quebec. Number 15, also from Quebec, The Argus. Number 14, we're back to The Mollusk, and it is the title track, The Mollusk. Number 13 from White Pepper, Even If You Don't. Number 12 from Quebec, Chocolate Town. And number 11 from The Mollusk, Buckingham Green. I promise I'm not going to just stick to those two albums the whole way. There's a bit more variety in the top 10, but
I do believe you.
good. I'm glad.
Mine is a little similar. And even with 20 songs, I gotta say there are some painful omissions here. Because as I mentioned, there are like six or seven of these albums that I like, and probably five that I love. Um, so you'll notice one album is painfully omitted entirely, um, which I don't feel great about. I got to be honest with you. But here we go. With number 20 from White Pepper, I have Stay Forever. I love that track. Again, it was at my wedding, had to make the cut. Number 19, also from White Pepper, Flutes of Chi. Great track. Love that one. Moving on to 18, If You Could Save Yourself, You'd Save Us All from
True.
Quebec.
So true.
Just love it. Number 17, the swan song, as I call it, Your Party from La Cucaracha. One of my highlights off that album. Number 16 is I Fell in Love Today off Shinola Volume 1. I just think that song is absolutely gorgeous. Number 15, I have Baby Bitch off of Chocolate and Cheese,
Very good.
kind of the follow up to Birthday Boy. Number 14, I have Ocean Man. I thought about leaving it off. It had to make the cut. It's a very important track to me. That is, of course, off the Mollusk. Number 13 is going to be Chocolate Town from Quebec. Just a great track there. Number 12, a little bit better than Chocolate Town, also from Quebec, is The Argus. And number 11, not quite making the top 10, is going to be Freedom 76 off of Chocolate and Cheese. You commented on the vocal delivery on this song. I think it's perfect. It doesn't quite make my top 10, but I would feel very bad leaving it out of talking about it. So it had to be number 11.
I kind of respect Ocean Man down at 14. You're probably one of the only people on planet Earth who wouldn't have Ocean Man in the top 10. But I like it. I
Well,
like it. They have a lot of great stuff, and it isn't as easy as just putting the most famous song at the top. So
very true.
here we go. A bit more in depth now. A bit more discussion. A bit more detail. My number 10 from 12 Golden Country Greats is Piss Up a Rope. I love this song. um, Absolutely insane, ridiculous, but also really fun. Um, it's kind of outrageous. Everybody should hear it at least once. I think even people who are not convinced about Ween's humorous side, they're going to get a chuckle out of this just because of how the song plays out. Um, yeah, I just think it's fantastic in it. The instrumentation is great as it is on that whole album. So number 10 is Piss Up a Rope. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of the more funny songs kind of aren't going to get the best representation, but Piss Up a Rope made the top 10 and I love it. I could listen to it right now, really.
Okay, great. That's a good pick for number 10. My number 10 is also pretty silly, and hopefully don't catch any flack for including this in my top 10, but it is very important to me in my Ween journey. It is none other than the biggest damn dumb thing you ever did, Dunsey. Big Jim coming in at number 10 off of Pure Guava. Just a tremendous do, 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 do. I love it. It puts me in a good mood every time. Big Jim. Um, not much, not a whole lot to say. It's a fun jam. I think it's definitely a highlight of Pure Guava for me, and kind of represents some of the fun. I actually really like the central riff. It's pretty straightforward. Love the backing oohs, and kind of the vocal delivery of talking about this guy Big Jim, who I think Dean's dad used to work for. He's since passed away. Rest in peace to Big Jim. But love the L in there to make Jim kind of just the back of your mouth fills up a little bit just talking about this big guy. Love Big Jim. It's quintessential Ween humor and songwriting for me. So number 10, welcome Big Jim.
Someone doesn't know Ween and it's like, yeah, our number 10's a Piss Up a Rope and Big Jill. And they go, what? What the hell?
I don't
Welcome
know about
to
this band.
No, trust us. Trust us. They are great.
Trust me. Just trust me. We've
Uh,
listened to a lot. Yes.
Number 9, maybe at a certain point, this would have been a bit higher. I mean, it's still made top 10, which is for a band this good, strong. My number 9 is going to be from Chocolate and Cheese, and it's going to be Boogie, 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 Boogie. Voodoo Lady. I absolutely love this song.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love this song. It's absolutely insane. I just love the driving rhythm throughout it all. It's so infectious. If it wasn't for that really disruptive, loud, distorted part, it would be a pretty good party song. But I feel like if you got to that part, it would kind of be like, what is happening? Why is this happening? But I don't know. I kind of love it. I kind of love the chaos of it. It's a ridiculous song, but really catchy, really infectious. Just, I don't know. It's a really likable song, if that makes sense. It's the kind of song that you root for. You're like, yeah, Voodoo Lady, come on, great stuff. So one of the highlights from Chocolate and Cheese for sure.
Voodoo Lady is not my number 9, but if you get a chance, you can listen to the Live in Chicago
Unreal. The
recording,
guitar. Oh my god.
and the jam session they break into is phenomenal. Just a great jam track when played live. Highly recommend listening to that if you like the bass song.
Indeed.
My number 9 is a cut off of Quebec called Transdermal Celebration. This is a fantastic song. You mentioned liking the riff, the intro riff. It's just so good. And I think it's just like open E and A chords, but it just sounds so good. Not entirely sure what the lyrics are about, but the delivery is phenomenal. The production just sounds so good, and then it just softens for the chorus. The hey hey. I just love this track. Transdermal Celebration, a strong song in the catalog, and one of the highlights off of Quebec for me. I'm sorry it can only be number 9, frankly, but it did make my top 10. I stand by that.
Yeah. And we're going to keep talking about it. We've done it again because my number 8 is Transdermal Celebration. So close to lining up.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say to contribute to what you said. Like I mentioned, the album's video is one of the first Ween tracks I heard, and it kind of blew my mind because I was like, "That's the Silly Ocean Man band," and I heard this, I was like, "Whoa, this is incredible!" And it is. It's a wall of sound. It's truly it's a guitar achievement without being the sort of showy guitar work that you get from Dean occasionally. It's very simple, like you said, but the tone and the production, I don't know, just something about the way that guitar sounds is just so heavenly and also has a bite to it. So yeah, perfect song, but it's only number 8.
Okay. My number 8 um is a little different. It is Kim Smoltz, which was on the Mollusk Sessions.
Wow.
So I'm sorry for going off the script here. Kim Smoltz, you can find it on YouTube. You cannot find it on Spotify. The Mollusk Sessions. They did play it live for me once. Not for me. I mean, maybe for me, but they played it while I was in the audience. Just a beautiful. I don't know if it's a synth riff or what exactly it is, but it just has this awesome kind of walk with a light step in your day. It's just a gorgeous, feel good Ween track. Um, anyway, I go listen to it if you haven't heard it. It's kind of an instant classic, and I love the understated rhythm behind it, and the lyrics are just kind of whimsical. Kim Smoltz, it's not too goofy, it's not too crazy. It's fairly straightforward, but it's always stuck with me, and for that reason, it had to make my top 10.
Right, you're giving me some homework here. I'm gonna have to listen to that when we get off this. That sounds good. So my number 7, right? My number 7 is going to be, we're heading back into Chocolate and Cheese. Spoilers for the album ranking. If you haven't watched that, watch that first. But it only landed at number 3, but I think the highs are extremely high. And my number 7 is going to be Freedom of 76. Yeah, I mean, you probably could have guessed this was going to show up here at some point. The vocal is tremendous. The guitar tone again is tremendous. Sort of them going into Blue-Eyed Soul, which I can't believe that they did. Is amazing. Just a really great slow jam. Just a great vibe to it, and it's one of those songs where it's, the performances elevate a really good song to being a classic. So Freedom of 76 is my number 7.
A great choice. I am a little sad I couldn't fit it into my top 10. But it almost did. That's my number 11. We know we're not sharing number 7. My number 7 is also from Chocolate and Cheese, however. It is Roses Are Free. I really enjoy this song. I love the way the vocals sound. I love the kind of ascending urgency of the chorus. And I think it's about uh, like having children and ensuring, making sure that you're ready for that. Don't let people tell you that it's only, it's only good news. Like you're gonna have to work and make sure you're prepared for that. So I think that's what it's about. That's how I've interpreted it. I really enjoy this track, and like I said, the ascending guitar line of the chorus just gets me every time. I like the kind of goofy solo. Um, Fantastic track. Chocolate and Cheese, as you said, it's just full of great highs, and glad I fit a couple on here. But that's my number 7 is Roses Are Free.
Very nice. My number 6 is, maybe, I don't know, I might be in the minority in loving this one this much. I feel like my top 5 are very, very well regarded songs by the Ween community, if you want.
Sure.
But my number 6 is going to be from 12 Golden Country Greats, and I mentioned it. It's "Help Me Scrape the Mucus Off My Brain," which
Nice.
is a ridiculous song title. And I don't know, this is kind of my favorite type of Ween humor, because it is a song that, I think I mentioned, it's sort of mostly being played straight. Then you get the line about the Frenchman loves to party, and it's like, what? It's like, and you know he's not to blame, and it's like, wow, what does that mean? It's like, but you know, I think it is just a fantastic song, a real romping country track, amazing playing on this. Like I mentioned, the guitar solo is off the charts. It's tremendous. Um, and it's like under 3 minutes. It's short and sweet. Whenever I put it on, it puts me in a good mood. It's just like also the vocal is like, if you really love me, baby. It's like very, I don't know. It's just something really infectious about the entire song, and I don't know. I feel like this song epitomizes what makes Ween great, and it's pretty accessible as well. I'd say, even for a lot of people say they don't like country, but it isn't like very yee-haw country. It's quite like I don't know. I'd say it's quite accessible. So yeah, help me scrape the mucus off my brain. Maybe I'm the only person who would have it this high, but it's my number six. I love it.
I respect it, and you're right. It is accessible country. It's not tractor singing, pop bro country. It's very nice. I respect that a lot. My number six, right? This song is very cool, and I think maybe others would have this even higher. My number six is from the Mollusk. It is Buckingham Green. This song is so cool. It's almost like a progressive rock song that is condensed into like 3 minutes. It has so many movements and just beautiful imagery and performances. I'm sorry I can't put this higher. One of my definite favorite tracks from Ween, Buckingham Green. It's a treat to hear it. Uh, love the track. Not much more I can say. It's great. It's my number six.
Yeah, it was my number 11. So I was very sad not to get in the top 10 because, yeah, like I said, probably their best guitar song, and
Yeah.
it's quite something. Especially how that then leads directly into Ocean Man on the album. It's like crazy, crazy.
That's strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, top five. We're getting into some
Top five now. Ooh,
all-time great territory. Not to
this
say that,
is
yeah, not to say that Freedom of
oh,
76 and Transdermal Celebration of Voodoo Lady and Help Me Scrape the Mucus Off My Brain. Not to say those aren't all-timers for me. They are. But
of course.
this is a cut above. This is a cut above. And my number five, like I said, my top five is maybe a bit more conventional. My number five is going to be from Quebec, and it's going to be Tried and True. I
Okay.
absolutely love the acoustic riff that just moves all over the place. It kind of reminds me of "And Your Bird Can Sing" by the Beatles. That riff, in how
Okay.
it sort of bursts in and it's like it's just moving all over the place, and yeah, it's just really cool. But obviously, it's played on an acoustic guitar rather than on an electric guitar. And yeah, I mentioned the sitar as well, creates a cool psychedelic flavor to it. I don't know, it's just a really nice track, great vocals, um, just got a great bounce to it. Again, another really accessible track. It's one I feel like I can show to friends. I mean, funny story. I actually Sam, who I did the Beatles videos with, and a couple of the other rankings, I remember showing him Tried and True and another track from Quebec. He was like, "Well, these songs are great." And then he messaged me one day like, I started listening to Quebec, and before he could carry on, I was like, "Why? Why are you doing that?" And he was so like, "What is happening?" And he didn't
You're
like
like, no,
it.
no, just listen to the hits that I send you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very much not a Sam band Ween, but he does really like Tried and True and the other one I sent him, which we'll get to. Um,
Ah,
so Tried and True is definitely one of those tracks that I can say, hey, to whoever, listen to this. This is a great song, um, even if it's by a silly band. So I thought that's a fun little anecdote worth mentioning. Uh,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I will um s- share my thoughts on that song later. My number five is from the Mollusk. It's gonna be kind of a theme here for my top five, but the Mollusk, my number five is It's Gonna Be All Right. Um, this is kind of a perfect breakup song. Um, I love the vibe. It's it might be one of the more different songs on the Mollusk that is one of the least kind of like nautical, but it has this space, this air around it that um I don't know, that you can suspend your belief and be underwater for or something. But it's just it's a beautiful kind of goodbye release song. And I don't know if he's trying to convince her or himself of of telling saying it's gonna be all right. Um Maybe trying to convince himself. But I love the sounds. I love the kind of the synths during the chorus when he's extending the all right. Just think that's beautiful. And then the line about if the mist ever lets the sun through, I just hope I did the right thing for me and you. Oh, I mean, look, we've all had hardships in relationships, and that hits me every time. Um, anyway, it's gonna be all right. I believe them after hearing the song because it's beautiful. It is kind of sad, which will be a theme of my top five. But yes, it's gonna be all right is my number five.
Very well put. Yeah, I think the two things that keep that within the theme are the guitar tone, which is still very, trebly and warbly and underwatery, for lack of a better word. And
Yeah.
I also think, that line about the mist, something about the mist as an image makes me think of like a dock or something. And like you said,
Yes.
you can sort of fit it in with the rest of the theme of the album.
Right.
My number four, I suspect you might also have this in the top four. I don't know. We'll see. It's my favorite song from Chocolate and Cheese, and it is What Dina Was Talking About.
Ah.
Really beautiful song. It's 2 minutes long, and yet it doesn't really need to be any longer. It's really beautiful. Amazing lyrics about, like I said, empathizing with your friend, and you know, I feel like a lot of us have been there where we can see our friend not in the best place, and you desperately want to understand, and then when you eventually do understand, maybe it's too late, or maybe you regret wanting to have that feeling because you're like, oh man, this sucks.
Oh,
And I
now
think,
I'm in the throes. Yeah.
it's like that song really sums that up for me, and I think it's just a very wholesome song, um, as much as it is haunting. And I think that's really, a testament to the songwriting to achieve that in 2 minutes. I just think it's beautiful, and I love, you know, I love singing it. I think it's a great song to sing along to as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
what Dina was talking about in my number four. I mean, the fact it's fallen to number four, I adore this song. So it just
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, these top fives are kind of all-time greats for me, for sure. That's a fantastic one. My number four is going to be Mutilated Lips, off of the Mollusk. This, I think, is pretty close to like a perfect psychedelic rock song to me. Um, I, you know, sorry, King Gizzard. I think this really draws on the sounds that I really associate with kind of classic psychedelic rock, and it brings back this nautical theme in just such a cool way. It's really hard to explain. I love the vocal delivery, the chorus of just kind of like word vomit, mutilated lips, give a kiss on the lips. He just keeps it going, and I always was just kind of transfixed by that. Um, I still am. I still love it. I love when the chorus comes in, uh, or excuse me, I love when the solo comes in after that, and I just think it's great. Um, it's mostly about the vocal delivery and the sound of the guitar here. Um, I love this. I love this song. It to me, it's probably the best song on the Mollusk, and definitely one of my favorites.
I suppose that's the beauty of the Mollusk as an album, because I don't know how many songs do I have written down, including honorable mentions. I had like 5 or 6 written down, and that wasn't one of them. But I still love that song. It's great.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, top three. Top
Ooh,
three.
these
My
are
number
spicy.
three. We're not going to line up on this one because you've already mentioned it.
Ah,
It's from White Pepper, and it is "Stay Forever."
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah,
I absolutely love this song.
I get it.
I think, yeah, I think it's this and Even If You Don't. I like this obviously more than Even If You Don't. But the simplicity in the songwriting really shines through. I want to know if you feel the same way, because if you do, I want you to stay forever. I mean, it's
Uh,
like, it's so, I don't know. To write something so simple that hits so hard is impressive. Like, obviously, it's impressive to
yes.
see all these intricate like lyrics that weave all these, like Dylan, obviously, like doing all these, make all these comparisons to old poets and all this stuff. And yeah, that's really interesting and cool. But I love, one of my favorite Dylan lyrics is from "You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go," where it's situations have ended, sad relationships have all been bad, and that's just such a plain and simple lyric. And I think that's, for some reason, that's just what I gravitate towards. And this song really epitomizes that for me. It's kind of got a
Yeah,
little bit of a country flavor to it, kinda.
a
Um,
little bit.
yeah, it's mostly, yeah, that sort of '60s pop rock. Um, on the mellower side, and yeah, just an absolutely beautiful vocal performance. It's always been one of my favorites from the first time I heard it. It's got the jangly guitars. um you know I don't know, I really connect with it, and I think I just love it. I love it. It'll probably end up being on my wedding playlist, so
I'm telling you, we didn't walk down the aisle to it, but I managed to sneak it in, and no one complained. It just fits right in to a beautiful
yeah.
setting like that, and I agree. I don't know if White Pepper is actually an allegory for the White Album and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, but I definitely get a lot of Beatles sensibilities in the jangle of many tracks. You mentioned Even If You Don't. Um, I yes, I that had to be number 20 for me, but I would have been very upset if I didn't even make it on my top 20. So I agree with you. I love that track. Um, my number three, um, top three. Geez, this is brutal. Um, back to a sad vibe. Sorry, sad boys only. Um, this is going to be off the album God Ween Satan. Wow, going way back. Birthday Boy. Birthday Boy is my number three. This is just a crushing song. Um, it just kills me. The guitar is so fuzzy and overblown, and there's this chaos, but it's so earnest, and um, knowing that the relationship is over, but like still saying, "Hey, if you're in town and you need a place to stay, you can always crash at mine," knowing that's never gonna happen, getting dumped on your birthday. There's a lot going on here, a lot to unpack, and it is a brutal one. I think this was based on a true story, so that hurts even more. Um, I love this track. I love the live recordings of it, but the for something about the original recording on Godwin Satan is just incredible to me. Even though there's kind of this wall of sound from the guitars and a lot of like feedback, it is gorgeous. So Birthday Boy, it crushes me every time. I love it. I sing it loudly, too loudly, probably, but love Birthday Boy. That's my number three.
Yeah, yeah, man. I might have penciled that in for your number one, so I'm intrigued to see where we go from here. My number two, I would say both these two songs would have a good shot on my top 100 songs of all time. And I like
Okay.
a lot of songs.
Yes, you do.
So that's tough, but these would be among the first ones I would think about. Whether they would make the cut, I mean, that's a horrible task, and I'm probably never going to do that because that sounds horrific. But yeah, they would both be up there. So having to pick a number two is tough. But my number two song comes from my number two album, The Mollusk, and it is Ocean Man.
Oh, wow. Number two. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it's a
Look.
song that, like, what can I say? The mandolin on it is great. People don't mention the mandolin much. I could say that. Um, I'm kind of running out of things to say. No, it's great. From the intro drum fill is just like you're straight in. I love songs like that where it doesn't waste any time. Again, like what Dean was talking about, it's around 2 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I have a Ween playlist of all my favorite tracks throughout the discography, and it's called. I like to name my playlist after a lyric from the discography. And for Ween, I picked "Take Me by the Hand, Lead Me to the Land" because I think that just sums them up perfectly. And it's just like they're going to take you on an adventure, and it's going to be wild. It's going to be kind of crazy. You're not really going to want to go to some of these places, but you just got to trust them because they are going to take you on an adventure that you won't forget. And I think that this song epitomizes it better than any of their other songs. It's catchy, it's nostalgic, it's got like a childlike angle to it, which isn't just because it was in the SpongeBob movie. It's kind of got naturally this sense in it that, I don't know, it just has a really nice vibe to it, and everyone knows it and everyone enjoys it. And even though people are like, Ween are just a comedy band, come on, you love Ocean Man. Everybody loves Ocean Man. It's just a fact of life. So yeah, it's one of their best songs. It's one of my favorites. It was the first one I heard, and I will never tire of it ever. I've heard it so many times, and I will hear it so many times again.
That's a good one. It's a big song.
It is.
It's bigger than the song itself for what it represents for the band. It was in SpongeBob. I have no ill words. Sorry I couldn't put it higher. The influence is undeniable, and as I said, what it means for the band. Love Ocean Man. My number two, coming back to what I said I would talk about later. Love this track. It's an all-time great off of Quebec. It is Tried and True. Um, this song is so beautiful, and I love just about everything about it. Um, I love the kind of odd vocal delivery from Jeaner. I love the cool riff that kind of comes down. Um, and love song about the sun and the moon, something like that. It's gorgeous. I love the joke about can you smell my whole life. Um, it's to me, this is what Ween songwriting is about. Um, very cool solo. Um, I don't know. This is Quebec almost at its finest. I love Tried and True. It's easily it well deserved spot at number two.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Can you smell my whole life? That's amazing. That's so good. Um, so unless I'm missing something, my number one
Oh,
is from Quebec. It's I Don't
okay.
Want It.
Okay.
I guess we'll see if we have the same one.
I guess we'll see.
But this was the other song I showed Sam, and he liked this and Tried and True so much he decided to listen to the album, which I wouldn't have recommended. But
Sure.
um, I think that I Don't Want It is a tremendous track, and part of the reason I showed it to Sam is because he loves Crowded House, the band, and the vocal here sounds almost exactly like Neil Finn. It's kind of unbelievable to me. um, but yeah, I could say so much about this track. I mentioned the guitar solo. It's not the most technical guitar solo, but the tone with the little bit of distortion is just beautiful. So much just pain and passion burning through that guitar solo. It's terrific. I remember when I first got my 12-string acoustic guitar for Christmas last year. I got it out, and the first song I learned was the opening of "I Don't Want It," and
Nice.
it just all the strings ringing out, and it just sounded great because I'm used to the sound now, but then it was like hearing all 12 strings reverberating through the room. It was like it's quite the moment to just be able to play that song, and yeah, a very simple opening riff and a very simple song in a lot of ways, but again lyrically it's great. Flowers grow in the springtime, leaves fall from the trees. It's very great imagery. It sort of puts you in a time and place. I would say, the mollusk has quite a nautical theme. I'd say Quebec has quite a autumnal theme. I would say.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I see it anyway. Especially on tracks like this and Tried and True. And I don't know. It's just a song filled with emotion and it's a sort of real heart on your sleeve moment. And somehow coming from, so I made the talking about Dylan earlier and how Dylan is always talking about these grand ideas and making all these great comparisons, and then on one song he's just like, yeah, situations have ended bad, relationships have been bad, and it's like when he puts it that plainly, it hits even harder. And that's how I feel about this Ween song. They're usually just goofing around, they're usually having a good time, even when they do get melancholic. Like with Tried and True, it's kind of melancholic, but then you have the funny line. There's no escape with this song. It's just pure pain put into song, and I love it, every second of it. One of my favorite songs of all time. Yeah, it's my favorite Ween song, and it always will be. So
Uh, very well put. My number one song is also from Quebec, and it is also I Don't Want It.
wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
This song is it's undeniable. It is, as I said, my top five are kind of sad. Mutilated Lips, maybe not so sad, but the rest have a pretty sad vibe, and I think that earnestness is really great about these Ween tracks. I mean, you said it well. There's often a bit of humor behind some of it, but this one is just um, it's just heartbreak, and I think it just sounds so beautiful. This is about Jean's divorce from Sarah. Um, so the song "Oh My Dear," falling in love, starts the relationship. Moving on to Sarah, and then we have "I Don't Want It." Um, so that's pretty tough. Kind of a tough suite of songs in context. And the solo is actually from Gene. It's not Dean playing guitar, you know, which he he does most of the soloing and um, lead guitar, whereas Gene typically does the rhythm. But he wrote the solo and performs it, and I think I mean, I think it's the best solo they have. It is so emotional. It fits the song perfectly. You know, please hold on to the memories before we crash and burn. We're got ourselves so wrapped up we've forgotten how to learn. Ah, man, it just um and you understand it, but you don't want it. It doesn't mean you want it. You can accept that the relationship is over and still be upset about it. And this is just an incredible artistic expression about the loss of love and what you once had. So there there is no better Ween song in my mind. This is definitely one of my all-time favorite songs. I just think um, it is a little strange in the context of the album because the fuck jam comes right after it, but um, regardless, it stands alone as an anytime listen. It's not reliant on any other thing, but even in the album, it's just a huge force and a beautiful, crushing track. It is we shared a number one. How about that?
I didn't see that coming. I mean, yeah, I'm glad you. Yeah, the just I understand it, but I don't want it. It's just so simple, and that's why it cuts so deep.
It's yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful one. So notably, I think I represented every album except for 12 Country Greats.
Mm.
Kind of a bummer. I really like all the tracks there, but none stood out. I couldn't put, having Kim Smoltz in there really threw a wrench into my plans. And
Did you
um
have pork roll, egg, and cheese?
um no, I took pork roll, egg, and cheese off. Oh, you know what? So nothing from the pod either.
Yeah,
You're right.
because I was waiting for that one, and I was like, But yeah,
I
I have, what was it, seven that I want to just shout out that were honorable mentions. Just quickly. I have two tracks from Chanel Volume 1 that almost made it, and they are Boys Club, remarkably, because when I first heard that, I wasn't sure what to think of it, and Gabrielle, obviously.
Ah, yes.
From White Pepper, I have Bananas and Blow. From The Mollusk, I have Waving My Dick in the Wind. From Chocolate and Cheese, I have Joppa Road. From 12 Golden Country Greats, Mr. Richard Smoker. And also from Godwin's Satan, I have You Fucked Up. So
Ah, good one.
those are my 7 near misses. Did you have any written down that just missed?
I didn't. I was trying to squeeze a couple in, and then I think I did make the um requisite changes. Um, Obvious shout out to the Blarney Stone. I love that track. You mentioned it. And then I feel like I should give some love to the Country Greats because I did rate it high. I love it as an album experience, and I certainly will not skip songs when they come on. So I think my favorite from that album is probably Piss Up a Rope, um, followed by You Were the Fool. I would say both of those are probably in my top 25. And
I don't know why I didn't have You Were the Fool down as an honorable mention. That one as well.
I I really love that one. And then I think the other one that I missed and or just couldn't make room for was what Diener was talking about. I agree with everything you said. I love that track. I think it's a perfect quick. It's very like it flows just beautifully, but it's obviously a sad song, hidden by these, these major chords, and um, I'm all washed out. Um, Beautiful track. There's 10 more I could list. This was a tough. I had to make some tough omissions here. I'm glad I got to fit in a couple that I was otherwise gonna um, have out. I'm pretty comfortable if these were my 20 like Desert Island Ween songs. I would be pretty happy with this lineup, but definitely feel bad about missing a few others out. But
Yeah. I think my saddest ones to not have were probably Bananas and Blow. Would probably be the one that I was most sad to lose. But I mean,
it's a tough
we
one.
even
Yeah,
got 20 instead of 10, and still it was because
we
if
got
we'd have done
20. I
10,
know,
if we'd have
but it
done
was
10,
10. That was brutal.
I wouldn't have
Yeah,
had Buckingham Green or Chocolate Town. Like
those are tough cuts. Yeah.
tough
What
cuts.
can you do? What can you do?
Wow, we've been talking about Ween for like 2.5 hours.
For a long time. And you know what? Well earned.
Yeah.
Well earned. They deserve it.
I remember you saying, "I hope that we don't need 3 whole hours to record this," and we put it close. We put it close. So yeah, thanks, Chris, again for joining me.
Yes. Thank
Hopefully
you for having me, Tom.
we'll do another
Congrats
video.
again on 100 subscribers. When
Yeah,
this video airs, it'll be 800, I'm sure. So looking forward to that celebration.
yeah. Hopefully we'll get together again and do another discography. We'll find someone else we have a common ground on.
Absolutely. I'll start buying more t-shirts and posters in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unless we do the Black Keys or Prince.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Those would be, yeah.
So yeah, and thanks everybody for watching. If you don't know Ween, listen to I Don't Want It, because
Yes.
that will prove to you that they are far from just a comedy band, because that's not running in the slightest. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully catch you soon.